Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Gustavo Zamora, and my team consists of Alexis Bishop, who is in charge of the working drawings, Taryn Chacon, who is in charge of the cost estimate, Josh Zavala, who is in charge of the schedule, and Caleb Badera, who is in charge of the cost analysis. And we are all part of the Civil and Architectural Engineering class at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Early College in Denver, Colorado. We completed the process to complete a house that has 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, and a total of 1,977 square feet. We have worked really hard this semester and have gave it all to be here today. One way that proves that we have worked really hard is that we've even gone to school on a Saturday and Sunday to complete this and to meet the deadline. We have all worked as a team throughout this whole process, and this is our presentation that we made for you guys. I will now pass it on to Alexis Bishop, who will speak more about the working drawings.
I'm Alexis, and I did the working drawings, and I used a program called Revit, and I came into this project not knowing what Revit was or how Revit even worked. And when I came across problems, I used my resources or my teacher. And when I use my resources, I would look up like videos to help me get through it. I want to go to college and to study civil engineering to pursue a career. And the process I went through was I had to make a cover sheet, a site plan, a floor plan, or a foundation plan. The floor plan, this is the main level, and this was one of my favorite drawings because it shows like a lot of work that I put into this house. And this house has 2 bedrooms on the first floor, 1 bathroom, a garage, a great room, a kitchen, a dining room, a laundry room. This is the basement. It has a family room, another bathroom, a bedroom, and it's half a storage. This is the roof plan, the elevations of all the views of the house. The details, I had to scale them to the right size or the right dimensions for the house, and I got these from the engineering standard detail spec sheet from Oakwood Homes. And now I'm gonna pass it down to Taryn, who's in charge of the cost estimate.
Good afternoon. I'm Taryn Chacon. I participated in the cost estimate group with 2 fellow students. Our task at hand was to figure out the total cost of our home, which includes materials and labor. And in order to establish the cost of materials, the process of setting up our estimates, in our preference, we'd like to see it in chronological order. And how are you going to build the house, and how are you going to build the house on paper with money? And as you see and go through, this is how much excavation is going to cost, and this is how much foundation is going to cost, and build it that way in chronological order. And we estimated the total cost of materials and labor to be $141,310. And diving a little deeper into the specific framing, our total heated square footage is 1,977 square feet, and we calculated that number by using Alexis's floor plans, which helped. And the total cost of framing is $26,575, and how we calculated that was simply by multiplying our heated square footage and the numbers that were provided, or costs that were provided by Oakwood Homes in their spreadsheets. This is only a part of how we started setting up our estimates. And I'd like to shift it over to schedule. Josh Zavala.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Zavala. I'm also a part of the Civil Engineering and Architecture class at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Early College. And in the beginning of the semester, we departed into a field trip to an Oakwood Homes neighborhood. And we got an in-depth look into the production of the houses starting from the ground up. And in all honesty, it was really challenging to take on the schedule. It took me and Taryn about a month to completely finish it, but over time it became easier to understand with the help from my peers and the superintendents from Oakwood Homes. And the most difficult part about the schedule was pretty much having the schedule in the correct order, also calculating the durations and finding the dependencies. And with the house, I realized that there's so much that needs to be put into the house in order to proceed, such as paying attention to the critical paths, such as the shortest durations to the longest durations, also focusing on how we're achieving the build out of the house, and also making sure that the inspections of the house are in the schedule, such as footings, rough-ins, HVAC, electricity, plumbing, and framing as well. And I find this really intriguing because before this whole project, I didn't really believe that it took this much to build a house. But I also plan on pursuing a career in civil engineering when I go to college. And I believe that my passion for civil engineering has allowed me to push through this competition and have faith in me and my teammates and the help that we got from our coach and teachers to push through this competition. But the fact that we have come this far within this competition, within the few months that we had and the limited time that we have, I've realized that nothing's impossible and that everything is possible and that we are taking the road less traveled. And this exhibits our determination and work ethic. And I'd like to pass it over to Caleb Adair with cost analysis.
Hi, my name is Caleb Adair, and I was in charge of the cost analysis. So you're looking at the screen and just seeing a bunch of numbers. Well, this is the proof that a lot of hard work and dedication have been put to complete this project. And this is the product of not just one person, but rather the whole team. You needed the cost estimate, you needed the material, you needed the labor. So there was a few numbers that was already provided for us, such as the lot price, the permit fee, and construction financing. To solve for the base cost, we were able to add the permit fee, the lot price, construction financing, and the building cost, and we're able to find the base cost, which turned out to be $171,000, $171,510.80. The percentages were also provided for us. So there was two percentages. One was the gross profit, which was 18.9%, and the other one was the realtor's percent, which was 4%, which turned out to be 9%. I'm sorry, which turned out to be $9,000 from the sale price. The company is gonna have a profit of $42,000, $525 at the end. This is the process on how we solve for the sale price. We took the base cost, which was $171,000, and the two percentages added together, and after combining them, we found out that it was going to be $223,000, $35.80, and rounded up to the nearest clean number, which was $225,000. So you're probably wondering, why that number? Why $2,000 difference? Well, the first thought that comes across people's mind when they see the number is, if it's a number that doesn't necessarily end with zero, they're probably going to try to lower it down and negotiate down. But if you see a solid number that ends with zero, it kind of just gives you that feeling that it kind of been, you thought it through, and there was a lot of work that been put into it, and it's a reasonable number. Gustavo Zamora is going to finish us off.
In conclusion, I believe that we have done a pretty good job on this entire process as a team. We only had 2 months to work on this project and learn everything. And I believe we have a more in-depth understanding of home building and everything that goes into a house. We've learned so much from this experience, and we are very thankful that we were given this chance to compete in this competition. And I'd like to thank Joe, Ms. Zamora, Ms. Scales, and my teammates around me, as well as Blanker Builders, the NAHB, and Oakwood Homes for everything they have done for us. Thank you.
Excellent presentation, guys.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
That was great. So, were you guys here last year?
No, ma'am.
No.
It's the first year.
First year. That's what I thought. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Very, very good. And grades?
Juniors.
All juniors. So you'll all be back again next year, right?
Most definitely.
Good. The schedule.
Yes.
Schedule is very impressive, very detailed, very thought through. If I just had a couple comments on that, I would say it's probably about double, the total duration is probably about double what it would actually be. And so just look at your interior and exterior components and try to combine those so that they're actually being done concurrently at the same time. One more, floor plans or the drawings. Alexis, you drew them, right? Who checked them?
I kind of checked them.
Okay, I see that, so just, it's really important that someone else from your team checks those drawings and looks for them to make sure that they're accurate. So, I know that you drew them, you probably, I know you did a lot of work here, but lean on your teammates to make sure that they're looking at these and making sure they're accurate.
Okay.
Great job.
Thank you.
You guys did a fabulous job in your presentation. Great job of putting together your binder. And I guess I have a question for each one of you. As you mentioned, Saturdays and Sundays, there's a lot better things that you could have, more fun things probably that you could have been doing. So my question for each one of you is this, is why did you decide to be involved in this competition? And the second part of that question is, what did you get out of this competition?
So for me, I decided to be part of this competition because this is a third-year class of engineering. So I've really been interested in engineering since I started freshman year. And what I got out of this is all this this experience. I learned a lot from it. And like Josh said, I didn't think it'd take that long to build a house, but it actually does.
I thought it would be a great experience to get out and actually learn how a house is made. And I just always like engineering and I like hands-on things. So I think that this would be a great career for me.
I took part in this competition because I like to compete. I'm also in the 4-year pathway of engineering, and this is my 3rd year, so this is where I'm at, and it's Florida. It's a competition. Why not, you know? And what I got out of it was a great learning experience. Hands-on, everything. I thought we did pretty well, and yeah, learned a lot of it.
For me, I'm also in the same pathway as them. This is my 3rd year of civil engineering, and ever since freshman year, I've really wanted to go into civil engineering, and this has given me a really amazing opportunity to understand the subject overall and meet more people. And pretty much in high school, this is us creating our legacy or making history for our school. The fact that we're the first group to ever do this in our area, in our school, is really amazing. And just, it's beautiful out here. I love it out here. I think that with this experience, that it's really gonna help me in college, knowing what I want to do and help me strive to go further into this and just know that everybody that pushed me through this, and it'll be all worth it at the end.
Oh, for me, it's kind of a long story. Ever since I was in 6th grade, I kind of knew that I wanted to be somewhere in the engineering field, but it was kind of like what part, because there's a lot of branches and different places that you can be within the engineering field. So I was kind of between civil and architectural engineering, which this class includes both. And so my plan B was to become a realtor, and my portion was to talk a lot about numbers and the percentages for the realtor, and it just stood out to me. I kind of found it interesting, and I wanted to be here and do the project.
Well, thank you for coming. Let me say that much.
Thank you for having us here.
And this is going to be the second time, I think, or third time that I've said today, and I really want to impress it, is I had mentioned earlier that all we get to date, all we know about you is in this book. And thank God there's presentations, and we get to meet you and shake your hands. By the way, great handshakes, all of you.
Thank you.
I see these pictures. I see that you took those, is it Oakwood Homes?
Yes.
Oakwood Homes, and they kind of helped you. So I saw references in here on the cost estimates, some other things on Oakwood, and I didn't know what they were.
Oh, that would be a spreadsheet with prices and cost of material.
Right. But you see, if I've got pictures like this and I've got a brief description of what your process was, I would have looked at this and said, oh, I know what that is. Or, okay, what is Oakwood Homes? So the story that you're telling me, and as I sit here and I shake each one of your hands, I have a completely different perspective than what I've had in this book. the drawings, just in general, you tackled by yourself Revit, which is really hard to teach yourself to begin with. That's a huge, huge undertaking. But I want to give you the biggest credit ever. You said, hey, I got to the details, and you were so smart. You used resources that were available, and then you modified them. So I see kind of how you modified it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. I love how you used this sheet and for the details. You didn't try to generate it. It was like that because you had taken on Revit all by yourself. By the way, she needed more help. Because the one thing with the drawings is, I need notes. I need notes. I need notes. I need people to check it and tell me what it needs and what it doesn't need. So all the rest of you were whatever you guys were doing, but she's doing. Did anybody help with the drawings?
She gets down.
Man. Well, then if you can't work together, then you split it up. Divide and conquer. I think, just in general, it's like you do this and do schedules. And, you can do by putting schedules and notes, for instance, even from some of the estimates and some other things going back and forth to help her out. And so the same thing is like scalability, notes. And it's like a great, great start. But I don't have notes. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is because you took too much on. So divide and conquer and get them to help with all of this stuff and take it. And, I could clear, learning Revit for the first time is really tough. And I really commend all of you. But as you're putting your book together for next year, because I really hope that you're here, okay? Tell that story. Show those pictures. Tell us about yourselves. Because I have a completely different perspective after your presentation. Okay? You're heading back, and unfortunately, so thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank the 5 of you for looking at the construction industry as your future. We need people like you. You got the initiative to go after it, and I'd love to see you guys next year again. Alexis, I don't want to pick on you, but I will. You need to beat these guys and say, give me help and proofread it. She took on a huge burden. If you guys don't realize it, you gotta give her a big pat on the back. She took a huge burden on doing the plans. And I've done Revit, and I still draw by hand, because Revit is hard. One of the things in there is, as you're learning through the units, if you can give like the Gustavus a tape measure, and go, Gustavus, give me a 27 30 of an inch. Where is it on that doggone tape measure? Don't do that. That's rough. Or 5/32. My tape measure, first of all, he's going to look at his tape measure and go, I only have 16 notches in the inch, not 32. So what it is on your Revit, when you tell it to lock, you might have to move it this way or that way, or go back over on the command and then touch it and tell it this is the dimension I was thinking of. It's an override, but by learning it, you'll start to learn those tricks on it. But it is a real rough program. So I want to commend all 5 of you for looking at this as our industry.
Thank you.
I want to commend you on going out to the job site to go look and walk it. I mean, that's huge. It's one thing to learn it from a teacher or from books, but going out to the field and learning it, that's where the rubber meets the road. So I commend you for doing that. In your estimate, you got these the square foot numbers from Oakwood. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the square footage, the heated square footage we got from her floor plan.
Right. So the quantity of the square footage you got from the plans, but the actual cost.
Oh yeah, we have a spreadsheet for Oakwood Homes that gave us costs. Yeah, so we provided by Oakwood.
So the one suggestion I would have is we need more detail. It's nice to have a cost per square foot if we're trying to get a real quick estimate out. But if we want to understand how many studs go into a house, we want to understand how many sticks of 2x4, how many sheets of drywall, etc., go into the house. That's one suggestion for future. We want to see all that information. So you have the cost from Denver, Oakwood Homes in Denver, I assume. But this home is being built in Wisconsin. How did we translate those costs to Wisconsin costs?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, are you asking for the total cost, like the sale price?
Not the sale price, but the cost to build the house. it
In
costs
Wisconsin.
different to build in Denver than it will in Wisconsin. So I'm just wondering if that was something you took into account into the costs.
Honestly, I do, but that's a good question. I can dive deeper into that.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Good job, guys.
Appreciate it.